The Imperial fleet arrived exactly on schedule. More than 12,000 warships emerged from hyperspace near the edge of the Sol system. Their arrival lit the darkness like a second sunrise. Across the galaxy, billions watched the live broadcast. The Galactic Empire had never assembled a force this large before. Worlds had surrendered to smaller fleets. Civilizations had collapsed after seeing only a fraction of this power. Yet Earth did not surrender. Instead, a single Terran fleet waited near Mars. Only 300 ships. The numbers were almost laughable. Inside the Imperial flagship, Grand Marshal Varen stared at the tactical display and smiled. 300 ships, he said. His officers chuckled. This will be the shortest war in Imperial history. The bridge filled with quiet confidence. Everything was happening exactly as expected. Then a communication request appeared on the screen. The Terrans wished to speak. Varen accepted immediately. A human admiral appeared. He looked older than most military leaders. Gray hair, calm eyes, no sign of fear. Admiral Ethan Hale. Varen leaned forward. Admiral Hale, he said, you are outnumbered 40-1. I am offering a final chance to surrender. The human listened quietly. No anger, no panic, no desperation. For a few seconds, he simply stared at the enormous Imperial fleet behind Varen. Then something strange happened. The human smiled. A small smile. Then he laughed. Not loudly, not mockingly. Just a short, genuine laugh. The entire Imperial bridge became silent. Varen's expression hardened. What is so amusing? He asked. The human looked directly into his eyes. His smile slowly faded. You remind me of someone, Hale said. Varen frowned. Who? The old admiral took a slow breath. Then he spoke words that would soon spread across the entire galaxy. The last empire that thought numbers guaranteed victory. You dare compare us to the old war? That empire fell, yes, but we are stronger, smarter, faster. Admiral Hale didn't flinch. His eyes stayed steady, calm as the Sol system's pale blue sunlight. We are not like them, he said. They counted their ships. We count experience. Varen scoffed. Experience does not fire weapons, Admiral. Experience does not control 12,000 warships in perfect formation. Hale's smile returned, faint, almost amused. No, but experience makes some things invisible. The Empire's fleet advanced in tight formation, engines glowing, each vessel a monument of firepower, shields humming in perfect harmony. Yet Hale didn't order a single move. His command deck remained silent. Only 300 Terran ships waited, scattered across the asteroid belt like tiny shadows. The Grand Marshal's fingers tapped impatiently. Do it. Strike. End this pathetic display. The Terran admiral shook his head slightly. Patience, Marshal. Watch and learn. Seconds passed. Minutes. Then subtle changes appeared on the tactical display. Imperial ships shifted, their formations faltering, shields flickering. Tiny blips, almost invisible, darted between the enemy vessels, smaller than fighters, faster than scouts, undetectable by the Empire's main sensors. Varen's eyes widened. What are those? Hale's calm voice echoed across the comm channel. Lessons. From wars your historians forgot. From battles your fleets never faced. We do not rely on numbers, Grand Marshal. We rely on what your pride cannot predict. A single Terran ship moved, then another. A ripple spread. The Empire's flagship alarm lights began flashing. Officers shouted, trying to regain control. But the Terrans were everywhere, yet nowhere at once. Varen realized too late. This was not a battle of firepower. This was a war of knowledge, patience, and timing. The laugh of humanity was no longer just a smile. It was the beginning of the Empire's unraveling. On the bridge of the Imperial flagship, panic spread like wildfire. Officers barked orders. But the Terran ships seemed to vanish and reappear at impossible angles. Varen's voice trembled. Impossible. Our sensors, everything. We should be controlling this. Hale's calm voice cut through the chaos. Control is an illusion, Grand Marshal. You can control numbers. You cannot control history. Suddenly, a transmission appeared from another human fleet, hidden deep within Jupiter's orbit. Only a handful of ships, cloaked beyond detection. The Empire had never accounted for them. Reinforcements? Where did they come from? Varen shouted, disbelief clear in his tone. Hale's eyes glimmered. From lessons you never learned. From wars you dismissed as folklore. We survived when others failed. That is why your pride will break today. The small Terran fleet moved in perfect synchronicity. With minimal fire, they struck Imperial weapon systems, disabling shields, engines, and communication arrays. The Empire's massive ships, built to crush worlds, now drifted helplessly. Varen's face turned red with fury. We are the Galactic Empire. How can? Hale interrupted. Because experience cannot be measured, strategy cannot be bought, and the galaxy does not bend to arrogance. A single Terran ship advanced toward the Empire's flagship. No weapons fired, yet the entire formation shivered. Systems failed in sequence. The flagship drifted, powerless, as if gripped by an unseen hand. Varen realized, too late, that this was not brute force. Every Terran move had been predicted, tested, perfected over decades. Every tactic was a trap, every hesitation a weapon. The Empire's pride, its massive numbers, its fleet. Nothing mattered against humanity's hidden mastery. And in that moment Hale laughed again. A short, quiet laugh. Not mockery, not arrogance, but the laughter of those who had survived every impossible war history had ever forgotten. The Galactic Empire understood. This war had already been lost before a single human ship had fired its first shot. The bridge of the Imperial flagship was silent, not because the battle was over, because nobody understood what was happening. Thousands of Imperial ships still filled the tactical display. Their weapons were intact. Their reactors were running. Most of their crews were unharmed. Yet the fleet could not fight. Every order arrived seconds too late. Every formation adjustment created a new weakness. Every counterattack seemed to move exactly where the Terrans wanted it. It felt as if someone had studied the battle before it happened. Grand Marshal Varen stared at the screen. For the first time since the war began, he felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. What are we missing? He asked quietly. No officer answered. Then Hale's image appeared again. The old admiral looked almost disappointed. You built the strongest fleet in the galaxy, Hale said. Varen clenched his fists. Then how are we losing? Hale remained silent for a moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, because strength was never the test. Varen frowned. What does that mean? Hale glanced toward the stars outside his bridge window. 300 years ago, humanity fought an enemy that could predict every military decision we made. The Imperial officers exchanged confused looks. Hale continued. They knew our strategies before we used them. They knew our formations before we created them. Varen's eyes narrowed. And you defeated them? The admiral shook his head. No. The answer shocked everyone. We lost. Silence filled both bridges. Hale continued. We lost planets, fleets, entire generations. His face hardened. But surviving taught us something. What? Varen demanded. The old admiral looked directly into him. The most dangerous enemy is not the strongest one. Alarm lights suddenly flashed across the Imperial bridge. An officer jumped from his station. Marshal. Varen turned. What is it? The officer's face had gone pale. We found the Terran target. Varen leaned forward. Which ship? The officer swallowed. Not a ship, sir. The bridge became still. Then what? The officer looked at the terrifying data. It's us. And for the first time, Grand Marshal Varen realized humanity had never been attacking his fleet. Humanity had been attacking his decisions. Varen's face drained of color. He had expected ships, lasers, missiles, but not this. Not tactics that moved like living predators, predicting his every thought. On the Terran bridge, Admiral Hale watched silently, his hands resting on the railing. The 300 ships that had seemed insignificant now appeared as ghosts, phantoms dancing around the Empire's massive fleet. Grand Marshal, Hale said calmly over the comm, your fleet is formidable. Yet even here, your pride blinds you. Varen gritted his teeth. Explain. How is this possible? We control 12,000 vessels. Every one of them should outmatch you. Hale's eyes narrowed. Power is not numbers, Marshal. Knowledge is. Experience is. And fear, when you lack it, becomes your enemy. Suddenly, on the Imperial displays, ships began spinning out of formation. Engines flared erratically. Weapon systems overloaded. Communication channels crashed. A single Terran fighter zipped past, invisible to sensors, striking precise relay points. Varen realized the truth. His grand strategies, every carefully planned maneuver, had been anticipated. Humanity wasn't merely defending. They were exploiting decades of Imperial arrogance. An officer shouted, "Sir, we can't stabilize the formation. Every move, it's reversed before it executes." Varen's hand slammed on the console. "Impossible." Hale spoke again. "It's not impossible. It's human." For the first time, Varen felt the weight of centuries. He had believed the Galactic Empire was untouchable. He had believed human resilience was fragile, predictable. But here, with 300 ships and a mind that saw patterns invisible to him, he understood. The empires might meant nothing against humans who had learned patience, strategy, and cunning the hard way. Then came the quietest moment in the battle. Not a shot was fired. Not a ship moved. And yet, the Imperial fleet felt trapped, controlled by forces it could neither see nor understand. Hale leaned toward the comm and whispered almost casually, "Laugh all you want, Marshal. It's the last time you'll feel confident." The silence that followed was deafening, because the Galactic Empire had just realized humans didn't need numbers to destroy them, and the first domino had already fallen. The Imperial flagship shuddered, not from weapons fire, not from collisions, from a realization. Varen's fingers hovered over the command panel. His crew looked to him for guidance, but he had none. The Terran fleet wasn't attacking in any conventional sense. Every move the Empire made, every formation, every decision was anticipated. Hale's calm voice came over the comm again. "Grand Marshal, the Empire is impressive. Truly. But your pride, your rules, they are your weakness." Varen's eyes widened. "Rules? What rules?" Hale's lips curled into a faint, knowing smile. "Every admiral in your history follows patterns. Every fleet obeys doctrines. Every strategist believes in control. But humans do not fight predictably. We fight like water, like wind. We move where the enemy does not expect. We strike when they cannot react." Varen's bridge erupted in panic. Alarms blared. Systems failed. Ships spun helplessly. Every attempt to regain control was nullified. A small Terran fighter zipped past, striking communications relays that disabled the Empire's coordinated commands. Hale leaned over the Terran bridge railing, gazing at the vast Imperial armada. His eyes were calm, almost serene. "You see, Marshal, humans never need the largest fleet to win. We need patience, preparation, and understanding. You cannot defeat what you cannot predict." Varen's hand clenched into a fist. This cannot be happening." Hale's voice was steady, deliberate. "It is happening because humans learn from history. We survive. We adapt. We endure where others fail. And today the Empire learns what happens when pride faces experience." Suddenly, the Imperial flagship's engines shut down. One by one, ships fell silent. Panic turned to horror as Varen realized the human fleet wasn't even aiming at destruction. It had already neutralized their ability to act. Hale's short, quiet laugh echoed over the comm. Not mocking, not cruel, just the calm, certain laughter of those who have endured every impossible war history forgot, who have mastered patience, strategy, and subtlety. And in that moment, the Galactic Empire understood. This was not a battle of strength. This was a lesson. And humanity had already won.